Kimlin Company is sponsored by LowTeamRealty.com. Buy low, sell high with Keller Williams, Lake Travis Marketplace, Austin, Texas. Let us refer you to an expert agent near you. Buy low, sell high with LowTeamRealty.com.
Hey, welcome to Kimla and Company. We have a great show for you today. I am Kimla Lowe,
Kimla and Company webpage. So you can go right over there. That's on Facebook. Go to Kimla and Company and join us live, won't you? You can also hear us on audio at iTunes, Hulu, Spotify. The list is endless. Go to Contact Talk Radio and see what your options are. And if you would like to stream my prior shows, my archived shows, you can do that as well. I also have my own bio page on Contact Talk Radio. And if you are wondering about my services, I am running a sale for my astrological services. And it is a spring sale for the summer solstice, of course, up here in the Northern Hemisphere. And that is on my website page, and that is kimla.lowe, L-O-W-E. I'm sorry, it's kimlalowe.com. I always get that confused from my email address. So let's get to it. We have an eclipse today, and I'm so excited because we have an honored guest in the house. His name is Aage Nost. Hi, Aage. How are you?
Hello, hello.
There he is.
Hey,
He's
good to be here.
Yeah, he's coming to us from Tucson, Arizona. He has been a spiritual friend of mine for quite a number of years, and I'm so happy that I get to introduce my tribe that follows me now to Aage, because he has been, I want to say, spiritually awakened probably since birth. He arrived that way. He may argue with you a little bit there, but he is not only an author of many books, but he's a teacher of hypnosis, and he's a researcher of the ZOXpro Mind Development. We're going to learn about that. And he's a former pilot. And when I talk about being a former pilot, he did it all. The aerobatic, he was part owner of a flight instructor school, and he has logged in over 10,000 hours. He is a UFO advocate. And we're going to be talking today not only about the eclipse in Gemini, it is June 10th, 2021, but we're also going to be talking about the subconscious and also about how timelines and different dimensions crisscross and how they live together and exist together. And we're going to also be talking about the self-awareness of the holographic self and how the universe is actually created on this level. It's very hard to understand, but we're going to dive deep today. Aage's going to be our guide. And he's going to make it really fun for us. So welcome, Aage. How are you?
Well, I'm wonderful. So I'm coffee in hand, ready to go.
Ready to go. I've got my Kimlin Company cup.
Hi, there you go.
There we go. Well, welcome to the eclipse energy. And you are a Pisces, and we were talking a little bit before the show about what this energy actually means. And, is it that big of a deal to really kind of make a marking as to the eclipses? And I want to say, as an astrologer, absolutely. And if you are any kind of a sensitive at all, you will be able to notice the energies are quite amped right now. We have got this energy that eclipses come in pairs, and Gemini is the sign of the twin. It loves to be in a pairing. So it's the Sagittarius Gemini axis, and Geminis, I have to tell you, you have got to be just chomping at the bit, ready to get out there and create a new you. And it's going to come and it's going to unfold pretty quickly. Right now, we've got this eclipse energy. It's a good eclipse energy. It provides a push. It provides change in our lives. It provides a little bit, through the darkness, you get to see a new light about yourself. And this is something that is so, I want to say, effective on so many levels: your physical level, your emotional level, your intellectual level. Your aura can actually change while you're taking in some of these downloads while we have a darkness of this particular eclipse. Now, this download and how it's going to affect your life, I can really give you a wonderful timeline. And that's what my expertise is in astrology. And so for you, Aage, you're a Pisces, and you may be thinking about making some changes, maybe within the home or within your location, or maybe even your zip code. You've kind of been chomping at the bit as, when can I get out and travel a little bit more? And also kind of thinking, you know what? I've got a big burst of energy here, and I want to see if I can bring in new partnerships to put myself, my ideas, my experience on a new platform. So you may be kind of looking and thinking, well, I know it's going to come to me. So I always say these particular changes in our lives may need a little bit of a harmonic pattern to really bring clarity through and really get us on the right path. So how do we get into harmony? Well, the ancients used to sing it to us. And we used to sing along with all of the different the trees, nature's elements, animals, the weather. Everything has a specific soul song. And if you get very quiet, you will just naturally start this humming and start a soul song that has been imprinted to only you, that you will be able to harmonize with the changes and get on your particular mission and your journey, in case you've been sidetracked, or in case clarity has not presented itself fully for you, or you might have experienced some challenges, or just being stuck, energy just being stuck. So I always say, get out there, have your soul sing. And if you don't feel comfortable singing out loud, do something that makes your soul sing, that makes the little child come out in you, that provides that spark, that provides that love that just pours out of you. Whether it's something you did when you were a child, or it's being creative, or it's just moving and dancing, or using the elements, perhaps of water and swimming, or hiking, or doing something that really, as you know it, unlocks your particular energy of the soul and lets it sing, so we can all bring in this particular eclipse. I always say, with this Mercury retrograde, find time to have an eclipse, because with Mercury right aligned right with this particular sun and moon eclipse, it's almost like you get to plan your comeback in any way that you feel comfortable, or that the universe opens the path to you. you may be wanting to close some doors or wanting to let go of something so that you can come back stronger than ever. When Mercury turns direct on June 22nd, it's not going to be up to full speed because it's still way back here from when it turned backwards. So as we get up to July 7th, now we can run at our fast pace. And now we can really get some results. We can reach our destination. We can really see everything is finally making exactly the pictures in our heads or the knowingness in our hearts. So give yourself a little bit of chance to create your comeback. Because by June 7th, you're going to be stronger than ever. You're going to be on task. You're going to have more of a sense of self, and you're going to feel as though you have been uplifted and upgraded for the next 6 months until we reach December. Aage, are you with me on that one?
I'm riding back seat with you on this one. I have not studied astrology, but I haven't. What you said about something new, yes, it is happening, and I've also been looking at relocation. So you're right on target, and I know that I discovered actually that most people that are Pisces, they are a little softer of heart.
Yeah.
They are a little more intuitive.
Yeah.
And they're seekers more so than hard-nosed businessmen and other people that don't look at spiritual things. So I know that alone, if nothing else, should prove to me that yes, there's something to this science.
I agree. Yeah. And not only that, but your sun sign is Pisces, but then you've got wonderful combination, like a recipe that is your soul imprint that contains, the rising sign, which is the time you were born and where you were born, and also where the moon was located. That's how you see yourself, is what your moon is in. You don't see yourself perhaps as a Pisces altogether. You may feel that way, but we see ourselves in the mirror as our moon sign. And so you have so much adventure in your makeup, and to be able to fly and use the element of air like you have, and also to dive deep into all of these metaphysical topics. I would love to get a hold of your chart and really kind of introduce it to you so that you can say, wow, that makes so much sense. Now that is exactly, every one of us has a unique thumbprint and a unique soul print. And so astrology is one way of introducing you to you and giving you kind of a rule book or manual as to how to get on the fast track right away and get to know yourself a little bit better. And that's what I'm pretty good at, I may say, and I make it fun. And we kind of go from there. As you well know, everything's about energy, whether, no matter what we're talking about. So if you know your own energy inside and out, it can only as within, so without. So you can draw your sacred space to you, or your new sacred space. And not only that, but you can also get new, like a new tribe around you that will support, your journey and where you're going. And I feel as though, with a lot of these different metaphysical subjects that you've studied, I would love to know about this ZOXpro Mind Development.
Oh, that is, for me, that dates back about 7 years or something like that, when I was traveling around the country teaching that. And ZOXpro training, ZOXpro training, they're still doing the course, and nothing lasts this long, and thus, it's pretty good. So what we did, we taught people how to assimilate information out of a book at the rate of about 75 or 50,000 to 100,000 words per minute with 95% retention.
Wow.
And yes, you can do that because what the founder of the course here, Richard Welch, he discovered that the subconscious mind is just a recording device. And when we see something or read something or learn something, we are running it through the filters of the conscious mind. And that just kind of scatters it and puts it everywhere, and it doesn't come out right by the time. So if we focus in with a lower brainwave pattern into the alpha range when we read something and we study something, we have a better recall. And if we remove the conscious mind altogether, then whatever we see goes right through the conscious mind without having any interference, and we'll put it directly into long-term memory. So later on, we use trigger words to get it back straight out of long-term memory, so we can see and hear, and we can observe what we have recorded. And this is it's very effective. It's kind of like, it's not reading anymore, because now we are turning pages, one page, or actually 2 pages a second.
Wow.
And you take a mental picture of the 2 pages, put it directly into long-term memory, and then there's a process of bringing it back out.
Amazing. Well, I would think that every college student in the world would want to know this.
Yeah, absolutely. But the problem is that education is more about a jobs program than a learning program. And kids that would start out with this, they would have PhDs by the time they were 13, 2 or 3 PhDs by the time they were 16. So what in the world do you need teachers for? You got a problem there. They don't want it. So it was tried to introduce into the school system, and they say, this looks wonderful. Don't call us, we'll call you when we need you. And they never heard from it. So, but private industry, they are doing it. And this is very effective. That is some of the most, we've had astronauts, we've had other people that is going through this course, and they have given testimonies, in fact, to, that this is a wonderful way of learning. It does away also with dyslexia.
Wow, that's really important.
I would suggest look them up on their website, ZOXpro Training, ZOXpro.com, I think it is. And you're going to have an eyeful, and it's kind of hard to believe that it can happen. But that year I was traveling, I read over 1,000 books that year.
And you still can pull that up whenever you want it?
It takes a little practice, but hey, when you learn how to read, it takes practice too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so don't worry about that part of it. It could take you practicing every day for 30 days and you got it.
Wow. So part of this key of practice, do you learn how to put yourself into a hypnotic state or something?
It is not a hypnotic state, but it brings you to the same level of brainwave pattern. And it also removes the conscious unwanted thoughts that always seem to sneak up on you when you're trying to concentrate on something.
Wow. Well, that's pretty rapid.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you read something, and let's say you're concentrated and you just read and you get it. It's there, you're absorbing it. And then suddenly in the middle of that section, what you read, you start thinking, oh, did I turn off the coffee water? Other thoughts come in. It breaks the stream of information coming in. So it's been going into one part of the brain. And now you break it. and then you get back to it again. Now there's a break in that information being placed into long-term memory. So when you later on are trying to remember all this, you can remember one section of it, but the other one is still not connected to that one section because you got the coffee water in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh.
So now it's in two places in the brain, because the brain is the computer, the mind is the software you put on top of the computer, and the mind is what we are manipulating here, or actually working with, in order to get a total long stream that we can start pulling on it and it all comes out.
That is, I have to learn that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And why aren't you teaching this anymore?
Well, I got interest. I did it for a year and I was ready for new things. And
Yeah.
I've kept it up for a long time. And then there was a time in there where I really didn't do much with it. It still worked for me, but I didn't do much. And now I'm pretty good at it, actually. Not excellent anymore, but it takes a little practice.
Right.
And it takes
Right.
you about 4 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes to go through a book, 2 pages at a time, and you got it. Now you can practice getting it back out by using triggers and stuff like that. So it's just like any other time you try to remember something, you have to think of the concept. And in school, they tell you that go home and read this section because tomorrow you're going to have a test on it.
Memorize.
Oh, I hated
Memorize
that.
it. Yeah.
And
Right.
the thing, they tell you memory is automatic. No, it isn't. You got to learn it. But the teachers in school, they don't know how to do it either. So they don't know how to teach you how to remember.
Right. That makes sense. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Well, you've done so many things. I mean, I definitely, and I hope everybody that is listening, if they want any more information, it's ZOXpro Mind Development.com, I guess.
Yeah.
Just research it and Google it. And I'm sure that all of the top companies are getting their leading edge by using these particular developments. And I would assume that this also would be fabulous for incubation on projects, for creating in the creative process as well. You can go in there and maybe tap into something that that you've downloaded in some subconscious way.
Yeah.
And yeah, for new inventions and the think tanks and all of that. That would be awesome if we could pull that up and make it make it like the new internet for our minds, right?
Yeah. And that is actually, I wasn't thinking of actually going into this, but that is what we are doing on Sunday. I have created a mastermind. And Nordy Love and I have created, Love, same name, created a mastermind. And we have some tremendous people on the mastermind, and we invite new people to come and join us if they like to, because this is where we are creating the future before we have to live it.
That's what I'm seeing through this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what time is it and how
It
can
is
we check
on
it out?
Sundays at 11 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon East Coast time. And if you want to come and check it out and see what we have done and what we are in the process of creating, you can send us an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. That is themastermindconnection@gmail.com, and I'll get you a link to come and join us. And or you got to try this, Kimla, because we're
Oh,
doing
that's right
some
up my
incredible
alley.
things.
Yeah, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
And oh yeah,
The
absolutely.
definition of a mastermind is when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind, which has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. And that gets powerful. There
Yeah,
is
I agree. I totally
There's an
agree with that. Yep,
yeah.
I totally agree with that. Um, because in astrology, we have a formation and it's called a trine.
Mhm.
And two or more can really bring about some very fabulous downloads
Yeah.
quickly. It can filter through really quickly. So working in threes is kind of something that is kind of one of those little secrets of the
And that is
universe.
also, I gotta say this too, is I wrote a book called Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. And in this book, I teach people how to use their minds in ways that you normally would think be impossible. And I have no shame, I gotta show it off.
Please, please. It's a great book. It's a wonderful book. And I'm so glad you still have some in print.
Yeah. So no, and in there, I deal with how to use the mind for creation of the future, because we are going into timelines, and by creating something in your mind in technicolor or in vivid emotional intended pictures, place that in the future somewhere, and then go visit it every day. Put more detail into it, put more energy into it. Now you are laying down attractor strings to that thing in the future, as same time as you try to do everything you can physically to help that thing happen. So when that location in time in the future is caught up to by linear time, you walk into it. I've been using this program, this kind of programming, especially over the last year or so. And there are doors opening up for me, phenomenal. And I just became well, a couple of months ago, a best-selling author on Amazon. And
Yay,
also,
congratulations.
thank you. And also, the economic side of what I'm doing is really booming because of what I'm doing with this kind of programming. When you get really specific and create these mental images of what you want in the future, that's what we do on the mastermind. And people on the panel, they've had some incredible things happening to them. One lady had a house given to her 3 days before she was going to be homeless. So
Nice.
yeah, so there
Very
is
nice.
some really amazing things happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's very nice. You know, in my particular experience being a psychic medium, I have had my connection, of course, is, hearing kind of a knowing, but also getting a pictured movie in my head. And many times they have people on the other side who have passed would like me to pick up some projects and go forward with it. And it's been hard for me to take whatever I receive and then process it. It just doesn't seem to, maybe I am not on my timeline just yet for that to happen, but I'm ready now to go forward. So this is perfect that we are talking about this today.
But remember,
So,
you are the star actor in your movie.
yeah.
And in fact, what I just talked about here, there is some science behind it. Because I think most people have actually figured it out by now that the world around you is not exactly like we have been told. Maybe we have been lied to. Could it be? We believe that Newtonian physics tells us that this is it. The physicality is all there is. There's nothing else. Because the mind is the brain. No, that's not it. There is more to it than that. When it really comes down to it, we are living in a self-aware, holographically generated, mind-created universe. And there is some real science to that. There is a physicist. His name is James Gates. And he has spent his whole life researching the universe and existence and trying to find out what it is. He's got a blackboard that is about 10 foot tall and about 20 foot wide, all covered with equations.
Wow.
And he says, when we go deep in the equations that explains the fabric of space, we find computer language.
Oh,
And we did not put it there.
interesting.
That tells me that
Right.
this existence is explained in computer language. So it is a computer program running it. And that fits exactly in with the equations also explaining the holographic movement of things.
Now explain for the listeners that aren't real sure what holographic movement is.
That means that especially the self-aware one, which we are in, the self-aware holographic universe. A hologram, that is something, there's an image that is placed there by lasers that one part of the whole of the picture contains all of the picture. So that is projected into a fluid, which sometimes is air, sometimes can be smoke, can be anything. And the computer or the projectors that there is projected in from several different angles that show up, that it shows a picture of what they want to project. And if this is done by movie projectors, you can make the picture move. And they've been doing this since back in the early 1960s. But we haven't really been told about the degree to which it's been developed. But our hologram is on a totally different level because that becomes our existence. We are inside that hologram, walking around thinking this desk is solid. And it is inside the hologram, but it is a movie projection put out there by the mind. And the thing about this hologram is that we are the projector. We are the ones that is projecting it. It's not God or anybody else. No, this is a universal consciousness coming through us, creating this holographic projection that we are living. And this one is hard to wrap our head around, but the science is showing it. And within this hologram, there is more than one existence. You have several different timelines that you can end up in. And flipping timelines is very possible.
Right, right.
It can
Now
happen.
we've got evidence through that, through the work of Dolores Cannon, when,
Yeah.
when she regressed people and she could go through different timelines and that type of a thing, and noticed that even through hypnosis and regression, these people had reported unique happenings and experiences and things that should not have been there, were there and brought in from another existence. And so, yeah, so we're kind of like at the tip of the iceberg here. I know that our particular sense of time is on a whole that moves slowly, but now it's starting to pick up a little bit now as planet Earth is moving, through the photon belt. We're getting a higher amount of electromagnetic energy, and some new particular waves are coming in to push us or accelerate us a little bit more. Now, how does this equate with virtual reality?
Well, it is a form of virtual reality. Let me give you an example that actually will explain this holographic existence and the virtual reality we are living very well.
Okay.
I'm a hypnotist. If I took you, Kimla, put you in a soft chair and talk to you for about 15 minutes, and I tell you that when you wake up, you will see an elephant next to you in the room. If I did my job right, I snap my finger and bring you back out, you would see that elephant.
Right.
So you can reach out and touch the snout on the elephant. You can feel the rough skin. You can hear him breathing. You can smell him. He's right there in the room with you. I don't care if you're on the 18th floor, that elephant is in the room with you. Now I got a question for you. What happened to the real world? Did that go away?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Now you are in an alternate state of mind,
Right.
induced by my suggestion and your acceptance of that suggestion that, yep, we got an elephant here.
Right.
So the same thing is happening in our existence. The suggestion from the universal mind that you are going to see these things and do these things, that was already programmed into your bioelectromagnetic aura and soul substance, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to play this movie that you are the star actor in, just like you're playing the movie with having the elephant in the room with you.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
Because if I sit down with you and I say, yes, I give you my permission for you to hypnotize me, and whatever happens, I give my permission, since it is an understanding that if you are on planet Earth, you have free will and free choice. In your experience with this, are we being programmed against our will?
Yes, we are. The thing about it is that when you do a hypnosis session with someone, make sure of two things. First of all, you have a good understanding beforehand what's going to happen and what the purpose of it is. And then make sure it is recorded.
Right.
And if you are in person with someone, have someone else there with you, a friend or someone. If it's done on Zoom, make sure it is recorded so you have a copy of it, so you see everything that's going on and you can hear it. Because the people that write books on hypnosis, they don't put the whole story in the books because they don't want to scare people. We can very easily be programmed because there are several different levels of hypnosis. One of them is when you are being hypnotized, but you can still hear what's going on. And if you feel uncomfortable, the suggestion is put in that you can terminate the hypnosis session anytime you want to. And then there's a deeper level of it. And when you hear, you know nothing about what's going on. That's when you bring your brainwave pattern down to about 3 or 4 cycles a second. Then your conscious mind goes away and you have no knowledge of what's happening. That's where the dangers are. But that is not normally happening, especially a hypnotherapist. They are very good at getting the job done while you still know what's going on.
So subliminal messages that are coming through all the time, whether it is through the television or whether it is through any type of format whatsoever, if there is an intention for them to use this for their own private, agenda, how do we protect ourselves on this? And how do we, can we get detectors that, perhaps we are being controlled or programmed without, without our will, without the intention of us wanting this to happen?
Yeah, a good hypnotherapist will always put suggestions into the beginning of the session, like this is for your higher good. This will be something that will serve your purpose for specific reasons, and that is spelled out. So they set the stage so everything will be safe for you. And then that will be part of the program going in. So that I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about anything actually, except for there have been incidents in the past when somebody have abused it.
Right.
But that is always in situations, first of all, when they're just one-on-one and it's not recorded, nobody knows what's going on. You avoid that if it is recorded.
Right. So there also have been time travelers that have been under a type of a secret mission that go out and have been offered through the future to live a virtual life. And with that, it's very difficult for them to ever come back from that virtual life. It's been kind of recorded that this is what's going to be taking place in the future. What I'm talking about is not with a hypnotist. What I'm talking about is sitting down and having commercials with messages that, or some type of energy that's coming through that we can detect on a normal, our own, our own universe that we're so well aware of, and that this is happening whether we want it to or not, that we are being held captive and we are kind of in a prisoner situation, being held hostage, or even though we're being experimented on at a very large scale. This scares me. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I would like to have a little bell go off, or, some type of a filter that says, okay, you're being tampered with.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have an advocate here that understands, what we're going through? Who are our advocates, by the way?
Well, first of all, when you're watching TV and when you get into the program and really concentrate on it, your brainwave pattern are lowered into the lower or the upper, the lower alpha range, like maybe 7 or something like that. So you are technically in a hypnotic state watching TV. So whatever commercials and subconscious messages come to you go right into the subconscious mind. So I don't watch TV anymore. I got the big screen on the wall and I watch it for YouTube and things like that. But what I want to see, but the regular news channel, they are filled with subconscious messages that you really don't want in your mind. And that's the other reason why I don't watch it. But another thing, knowing it is there, take away the power of the message. So when you sit down, tell yourself, yeah, I know there are subconscious, subliminal messages, but they will have no effect on me. Set that into you before you start watching to something, and know that it's there. Ignore it. Let the subconscious mind ignore the effect of it. It will go in. You can't stop that, but tell it to ignore the effects of it, so it kind of goes dormant.
So we're our own protectors. We have to learn how to accept or decline whatever is coming our way, so that we can save ourselves and what we take in and everything. Aage, you've been such a fabulous pilot in your life. Have you ever wanted to be an astronaut?
Not the kind, yes. The answer is yes, but not the kind that NASA produces. They, as an astral traveler, I have been out there, looked back at Earth, and I'm sorry, flat earthers, it's round. So, so it is a wonderful sight. So yes, it would be fun to be there physically also, but I don't really need to.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to do that. Yeah. So in your particular experience of your tribe that, you've collected or been with or taught through, as the awareness of the galactic travelers that are coming and going, and the different sites, that the portals are in that allow them clearance to come in and out and do that kind of thing. In your particular opinion, are disclosure coming through for the general public, is this going to be something that is going to be happening in the next 10 years or so, or 5 years, or what do you think?
Well, look for July
Look for
this
July.
year.
Okay.
It will, a bunch of stuff will be released in, how about that? It will be released in June, to the point where the admittance is going to be there that yes, we are not alone. But the majority, I think, will come in July. That is the way I see it in my timeline. So, and I think the dribble that they are planning for us to have, it's not going to happen. There's going to be an avalanche. They're not going to be able to keep it secret. Because if you go to the Black Vault, and if you go to the FBI website, they already admit it. Yes, we are being visited, but most of the extraterrestrials are interdimensionals coming here, which is true. It's right on the FBI website. So they've already admitted to it, but it hasn't come from any official announcement on TV. So the sheep, they usually don't listen to it. They never go there and look.
Right. I hear you there. Right.
But it's going to come. There's no way to hold it anymore. And that's why now that they are starting to talk that there's something going on here we don't understand. It's going to go from there to that, yep, there is extraterrestrials here. In fact, they are walking among us. They can be walking down the street next to us and we will never know it because they look like us, many of them.
Right. So in your experience, as far as time traveling and traveling off the planet, there's so many projects that are happening off planet now. They've been doing it, of course, on the moon and Mars, and now they're, publicly announcing Venus. Do you think that as far as the human DNA, is it as valued and wanted as it has been in the past? Or is it something that now the hybrid race has already been created and they're not so much interested in it anymore? Or was it the pure DNA versus the upgraded DNA they wanted? Or, how is that right now? What's the status of our DNA being extremely, a commodity?
We still are a commodity.
Okay.
Because first of all, the small grays, which many have seen, many have had experiences with, and some of them not so pleasant, some of them very pleasant. The small grays they're grown in a vat. They are biological entities that is kind of artificially created. The taller grays, they are the ones that is after our DNA because they are on the backside of the evolutionary curve and they need our DNA to upgrade themselves. And that's why there's a lot of abductions going on there. It's still happening. And when it comes to time, some of these are able to manipulate time and get into different timelines as well as time. Time is a loop. Even Albert Einstein, if you extend time forward, the equations of time forward far enough, you will end up where you started. So time travel is very possible. I still have a small electronic device that I've had some very strange experiences with. And in 2003, BBC television came over to the US and they did a TV documentary on time travel. They interviewed Michio Kaku, Green, and myself. And the issue was, is time travel possible? I demonstrated that electronic device on that TV documentary that was shown to about 1 billion people around the world. They're all English-speaking countries. And in the back of this book, I speak of time travel. And I actually show people how to do it. And it is very possible. Just takes a little practice, and you can actually do this, and you can have experiences. So it's something to think of. When it comes to science in general, I've read several scientific documents that says, yes, we know how to make a time travel machine. They just don't have the power to fuel it. But there's one thing they exclude totally, and that is the mind.
Right.
When you add the mind to the equation, there is nothing that is impossible, because our mind creates the physical around us, which has the time travel machine in it. So now you can fuel it. That's what I'm talking about in the book.
Interesting. Well, everybody, you've got to run out and get the book. So it is on Amazon right now?
On
Okay.
Amazon.com, just put my name in there and it'll show up.
Aage Nost, N-O-S-T. Originally, you're from Norway, and you came to the United States. Now, did you travel around the United States a lot, or did you settle in right away where you are now in Tucson?
Oh, no. I came into the United States back in the dark ages in 1972 to go to flight school. And I did that for a year, got all my certificates and ratings, and then worked for other flight schools for 3 years to get more experience. And that's when me and a partner started a flight school of our own that grew into an international air taxi and an air carrier. But I've been to most of the states. You know, I flew for 23 years on executive air taxi, and it's a wonderful country. It is just that today it is not the same country.
It is not the same world from 1972, no
but
matter what country you're in.
Yeah, and I'm at a different timeline now than I was back then also. There are many similarities, or very many of them, but it is a different timeline because I decided to switch timeline. I realized that where I was going was not going to be good.
So how do you decide to switch your timeline if you are, let's just say out of control, stuck, you can't get to where you want to go, and you decide you wanted to jump a timeline? What do you suggest?
Right there. I explained it very well. But I'll tell you right now.
Don't you love how I do interviews?
It is actually, you decide what you want. The people that go through life saying, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. Yeah, I'll guarantee you it will happen, but you may not like it. Because you are not the only one that program your existence for you. Because if you have no wants and wishes and desires of your own, others have for you, especially government. And they will design your future for you and may not be good. But if you start creating in your mind what you want to have happen in your life, place that in the future and go visit it every day back and forth. Now, again, like we said, do whatever you can to help it. And you focus on that. And you don't care what kind of rocks is in the road between here and there. Concentrate on the final goal, and there's going to be some good things happening. And also, you may have to exchange some friends. Your drinking buddies on Friday night may have to go, because they will hold you in the old timeline and the old habits, because you need new habits. And start deciding what habits you want, because it'll take 21 days to 25 days to change a habit. So start practicing the new habits in order to get where you want to go. That's how you start a new timeline, and that and some other things, mind techniques.
Very good. And if you are, let's say, if your vehicle as your body is starting to age and you want to change that, do you use those particular, the intention and visiting that every day? And can you turn your biological clock backwards?
Yes, actually, that is maybe a little bit different because in 2003, three doctors, no, in 2009, three doctors got the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process. And nobody told us. And this is
Wow.
very positive. I explain that in the book also, how to do that, how to reverse the aging process. I am doing it. I'm 75 years old and I get work 12 to 16 hours a day and I got more energy than anybody I know. And I've never been sick in my life. So this is something that you can earn by doing it the right way. And I am doing it the way I found some very old people. One of them was 256 years old when he died from an accident. I'm doing exactly like he did. And I also explained that in there. So this can be done.
You're fabulous. We are at the end of the show, Aage. I know it just goes by like a fast timeline when I'm hanging out with you, but you are such a wonderful guest. Please come back. We love you and we have so much more to talk about. Run out and get Aage's book, sign up for his mastermind class. And thank you so much for coming along with me. Until next time, may the angels protect you and guide you. Thank you so much, Aage. Thank you. We'll see you next time.